My name's Davey, and this is my story, how I went from $500 to $500 million. I was a very insecure kid. I was slightly pudgy, and now I'm on the Australian Financial Rich List under Margot Robbie. I have bought my dream home, bought my girlfriend her dream car. I don't actually like telling these stories. Sometimes I feel like they come off very, very arrogant, especially for people that don't know me, and I'm slightly introverted, but it is a really, really good story for young entrepreneurs to hear, and there's lots of lessons. So here it is. This is my story from $500 to $500 million in just 5 years. So I was born in not a huge city in Australia. It's called Adelaide. I was a very insecure kid. I was the kid that went to the beach and just wouldn't take their shirt off. I would have to swim in my shirt. I had a very supportive family when I was young. They, supported me both emotionally, but they also worked incredibly hard to support me financially. After school, I would go and watch them sell furniture. They had a small furniture business in Adelaide, and I would just get to watch them constantly just, working really, really hard to put me through school. School was difficult for me for a very long time. I was told that I was stupid at a very young age, especially through primary school, and I believed it. It was probably exacerbating my insecurities, and I just never tried. Constantly arguing with teachers, constantly getting detentions, and everything was just felt like it was going downhill. I had a parent-teacher interview, I think it was grade 10. All of my 5 teachers just said that I was failing and I was incredibly difficult to teach. After that, my parents pretty much had enough. They gave me an ultimatum to either start working hard or they're going to find another school or even just stop supporting me overall. I felt a deep feeling of shame at that point. I knew that there was something within me. I knew that I wasn't stupid and I had a decent amount of intelligence, enough to make a good life for myself. But it wasn't until I was scrolling through YouTube. I used to watch mind-numbing viral videos, Charlie Bit Me, and I came across all of the old Nike commercials. These were so exhilarating in every single way. You would watch them and you just feel like you could run through a wall. I watched the Jordan commercial where he talks about how many game-winning shots that he's taken and he's lost. After that moment, I started to pick up that all greatness was just a willingness to work hard and fail. So I knew I needed a plan. I needed to get better grades, I needed to get a job, and I needed to go to university to make money. Well, I thought university was the right path at that time. This was the path that I could feel better about myself and maybe achieve greatness, which I didn't actually really know what it was then, but I knew I wanted to do something awesome. The first job, I was moving things around in a warehouse, and I was getting minimum wage, which I think was about $16 an hour even back then. Then I used that money to go to the gym. I started to get absolutely obsessed with the gym, which made me feel so much better and was kind of the first lesson that small bits of compounded effort can actually improve over time and just help your mental and physical health. Then I got a tutor as well to help me with the subjects that I was struggling with. I enrolled in difficult subjects like maths, physics, chemistry. I knew it was working when 1 year after I decided to change, I had a parent-teacher interview. I only had one teacher that was the same as previously. He said, in my career, I've never seen a child turn their life around as much as David has this year, which really cemented that I was on the right track, and ended up finishing school on pretty good grades and getting into mining engineering. I just chose mining engineering because I thought it sounded cool and you could go straight into a 6-figure job, which sounded also cool. On my first day of mining engineering, I walked into this giant amphitheater in Adelaide University, and I couldn't even see the lecturer. He was so far away. He was on a big screen, and he said, "You're all used to being the smartest in your class. Look to the left, look to the right. Only one of you is going to pass this class." And turns out I was not one of those people. I hated university. I didn't like the subject. I was only doing it because I got told that I could get 6 figures out of it and it sounded cool. And because there is no structured or forced way of turning up, I didn't rock up at all and ended up failing. I'd say one of the main reasons why I failed university was because I was just so passionate about business, and I just was constantly launching new things. I was trying to sell singlets and hats, and I actually started making a fair bit of money on Instagram. So I started an Instagram where I would go into supplement stores and take photos of the supplements and write reviews, what's good about them. Then I was able to sell advertising on those Instagrams to, fitness tea brands and that kind of stuff. It started off small, make $5 here, $10 here. I'd be out on a night out during, young party stage, and I couldn't afford drinks, but then I'd sell a shout out and then would all cheer because I'd be able to actually buy the drinks. It started to grow really quickly. I created lots of different verticals of accounts. I created them in workouts, in nutrition. I was doing cooking recipes and putting those up. It probably got to a point where I was making the 6 figures that I wanted from mining engineering just from Instagram, which felt huge compared to having minimum wage just previously. Then I decided to do personal training because I thought I could get more into the fitness industry, learn more about it. During the day I would have 6 burner phones on the bench. People thought I was a drug dealer. I think Dad thought I was a drug dealer for a very long time because they would all have different accounts on them. I'd sell shout outs during the day, train my clients in the morning and the night, working 16-hour days. And I remember checking my bank account. I had about $100,000. Then it all kind of probably went to my head and things went very, very downhill. I decided to take a lot of the money that I made from personal training to try to build a huge food franchise. I was really into Vietnamese rolls at that stage, and I thought that there could be a big franchise of that, which there now is. It's called Rolled in Australia. So I stopped personal training and I took a lot of the money and I set up a shop in my local area where there wasn't really a shop before. 5 a.m. I would wake up and I would go get bread rolls, and then I would cook pork in the morning, and then I would just basically work non-stop. I'd still do my Instagrams during the day, wash dishes at 5 p.m. and head home and just reset. I wasn't seeing my friends at all. Food businesses are actually really, really difficult to make work. I was losing money. Lucky I did still have my Instagram business. It kind of evolved. I was flipping Instagram. So I'd buy them and then sell them to other people for a bit of a higher price. I would also just grow them a little bit in the meantime. And that was working really well until I ended up buying an Instagram from someone. It was probably my biggest buy ever. It cost $40,000. Bought the Instagram, got all the access to it. Everything was all sweet. Then it turns out that was actually hacked. The original owner was like, this is hacked. Instagram gave the account back to the original owner. The scammer already had my $40,000 and I was just left with nothing. That was almost all of my money at the time, so I couldn't buy any more Instagrams to flip them. My Vietnamese roll shop business was pretty much going down the drain, and I got into a very, very dark place. I remember completely being disorientated in the bathroom, mentally just not even there, with a lot of bad thoughts. And it was a really good moment for my family. It completely lifted me up out of that. I was constantly drinking at that time as well, so my family taught me a really good lesson. I remember Dad put a rock in my shoe and he made me walk down the driveway with the rock on the shoe, and it was poking me and hurting me. And then he took the rock out of the shoe and then put it on again and said walk down the driveway, and obviously it stopped hurting. And he said, these mistakes, if you carry them with you, they're just going to hurt you. Just learn from them and move on. So I knew I needed a new plan. I packed up, basically gave the shop away. I was going to move to Melbourne, surround myself with great people, learn as much as I can about e-commerce and launch a brand. Hopefully this brand would make me a millionaire and make me financially free. I was working at the Fifth Watches, doing Instagram management, influencer management, also learning photography, videography, Facebook ads, Google ads. It was an amazing time. I learned so much. I never gave up on launching my own business. At that time, I remember I launched a seasoning business while I was over there. I ordered 6 kilograms of parsley and delivered it to my house back in Adelaide. I remember getting a text from Dad when I was flying back, and he said, why are all of these herbs on my doorstep? I think that mixed with the 6 burner phones, he definitely thought I was a drug dealer for a very, very long time, because none of those businesses ended up working, and I was constantly flying back from Adelaide to Melbourne because I missed my friends and my girlfriend. Ended up spending all of my savings that I've made. I remember checking my bank account, I was back at $0. It felt like I was back at square one. I had $0. I was back living with my parents, but my mind and the knowledge that I had was just invaluable. All I needed now was a product that was just going to change my life. I was looking for products products everywhere, testing everything. And then I came across an article on Facebook around how weighted blankets can help people with sensory disorders or insomnia. Naturally, I wanted to test it out, got every single blanket in the house, was on the couch, piled them up. While that didn't really feel that good because it was maybe 400 degrees under the blanket, I did keep looking into it, and there were so many glowing reviews on forums, and there wasn't that many products out there, especially in Australia, that was selling the product. So I decided to commit to it. I decided this was going to be the product. It was helping people. It could really make a difference, and I definitely thought it was going to work. So I ended up ordering some stock from China. I got one sample initially, got my girlfriend and my neighbors. She was about 11 at the time, and I did a photo shoot in the house. I had so many skills from all of those past failures that I could launch the store from scratch. I could launch the Facebook ads, launch the Google ads. I could do everything from scratch. So I really didn't need any money to get it started. I had about $500 at that stage that I saved up from doing weddings and other videography shoots. To get the cash for the business, I decided to sell on pre-sale, which is where you sell stock that isn't actually in the country yet. You are making a promise that you're going to ship it at this date. So I would take the order, buy the stock, and bring it in. Because I had no idea what I was doing. They were sending me paperwork to sign. I had no idea. I actually get caught in a customs border hold. But the Australian Federal Police, they scan the product, especially if it's the first time that you're bringing in stock. And I remember it was just absolutely devastating. The stock was about 5 weeks delayed, and I had about 400 customers. My first 400 customers for my big business were waiting 5 weeks to get their stock. I thought, I'm going to throw away this huge opportunity. Ended up getting the email that they cleared finally after just constant emails between border security, and it was just the most ecstatic feeling. I was just off from there. I did about $200 in the first day, $1,000 in the first week, $10,000 in the second month, ended up scaling to doing $1.5 million profit in its first year. From there, I started spending the money as you do. I bought my Range Rover that was always a goal for me as a kid. I remember getting and driving it out of the yard, people thinking that I was pretty young to be buying it, and I just couldn't stop smiling with it. Was able to buy my girlfriend her car, bought my house that I love. I'm currently looking for a beach house. I get to travel the world because we've just got so many American Express points. So after launching Calming Blankets, I launched the Oodie, which took me from earning millions to tens of millions. We have millions of happy customers. All of the team, the 60 people that work there, love the brand. We are inclusive, fun, happy. We make people feel very comfortable in their own home. It's a brand that I'm incredibly proud of. When I look back at myself in school, watching those Nike commercials and how amazing that brand made people feel, couldn't have imagined that I would create something like Oodie that has a very similar effect on certain types of people. There was always times that I doubted myself through the journey, but the main thing is to just never give up, constantly keep learning, and just really at least try to enjoy the process as well. Enjoy the process of learning. If I can give one piece of advice as well through this video, is you're not too stupid. You are in a position to make a change in the world, and just enjoy the process. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.